J-Mott here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Burnley preview. Manchester United hosting Burnley in the Premier League. Joining me for the preview, as always, is Alex Baggers. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Through to the semi-final Europa League. Everyone's all happy, kind of.
Europe's most important competition now.
Easily.
Europe's elite premier competition. Any other European competition is a load of rubbish. And also, don't tell anyone, but we've got a guest.
We do it.
Adam Clare joins us. The man who's on all our prediction videos has finally come into the studio because we're allowed a guest. Good to see you, brother. How's it going?
Very good, yeah. It's nice to be here, you know.
Yeah.
I know I get a lot of these predictions wrong, but
mate, I don't think
I've
I've literally never got a prediction right.
To be fair, I got last night's right.
You did. I think you sent me a prediction video once without a prediction on.
I did. Yeah. And I sent the video. I did, and I looked at the video. And I thought, I've not
he didn't like. I forwarded it on, and then he sent me. Actually, yeah. By the way,
I think it was the Tottenham game.
Yeah,
you know?
it was. I think it was. Yeah, there was a new way of doing prediction videos. We're gonna get straight into it. Obviously, United, as you can see there from the graphic, in a good bit of form. Leicester in the FA Cup aside, we've been pretty decent. Good win over Brighton, back-to-back wins over Granada, and a very good win away at Spurs there. A big part of that win at Spurs and a big part of most of United's good form of late has been a certain Paul Labille Pogba, the talk of the town. He's been firing shots at Mourinho, as I was talking about in the paper talk earlier. Baggers, I'll start with you. What have you made of Paul Pogba's form of late?
He's been since he's come back in. He has been brilliant. I think that there was the start of this season where everyone was saying we don't really need him. You know, Bruno's here now. We can just have Fred McTominay in midfield, Bruno there. We've got Donny van der Beek. We don't need him. I think when he came into the team at the start of the season, he proved how good he was, and that was when we had our best run of form. And then he kind of dropped out of the team with injury, and we all saw how much we've missed him. I think that Bruno plays better. Bruno gets him more space because of Paul Pogba. And the game against Tottenham, he was just fighting people off. And I think I seen a stat last night or something like he usually has 7 duels in the game where he's like fighting people off. He did 17 in the first half yesterday.
17 duels?
Duels.
With his sabre?
With his sabre. He's just literally fighting people off. Yeah. And that's when he is at his best. He's looked good in that forward position. He's looked good in midfield. I think that if we were to win the Europa League, I think we'll need him to stay fit. I think we have to keep closing the gap on City. I'm not saying we're going to catch them, but if we're going to close the gap and have it where it's... I think the one thing United want now is to say, we could have won it. You know, there's the 3 games that we could have won to get close to Man City, rather than when we came second. And Jose, you can't say there's the 7 games we could have won to kind of catch it. It was let's get it within 8 or 9 points. Let's keep it to there, and then it's a successful season. I think if we are going to stay close to City and have a good run at the end of the season, we need Paul Pogba fit. 100%
agree with all of that. Adam, with Paul Pogba, like he has come in for a lot of criticism. Some of the fans, there's always been this sort of Pogba FC. A lot of fans love him. A lot of fans think, his heart's not in it sometimes at United. As a fan, are you sort of a big admirer of Paul Pogba? What do you make of, sort of, in a broader question, his time at United? Do you think he's done what we wanted him to?
It's a difficult question, that, because as a United fan myself, I stick by every player.
Yeah.
As long as they're still at the club, wearing the shirt, I'm sticking by him. Pogba needs the confidence from the fans, I think. And I think he hasn't been getting it as of late. Last week's game got a lot of other people on his side. So yeah, when he is confident, he's a world beater. I think he just needs the fans to be on his side. He's come out yesterday and praised Ole. That's a great step, and it looks like he's going to stay now, for me anyway.
Adam McCullough, but your new best mate with that sort of attitude. He's always convinced that Paul Pogba's not going anywhere. No, you make a good point, though, about Paul Pogba. For me, he's one of those players that does need a bit of TLC sometimes. He needs an arm around the shoulder, and he certainly wasn't getting out with Jose Mourinho. Now, he's not immune from criticism, Paul Pogba, and sometimes, there's things he came out one summer and said, I want a new challenge, which was a bit disappointing. His agent is just an absolute... well, let's not go into that one. But when he's on form, there are few players in the world, if any, that can do what he can do. I mean, you saw it for the 3rd goal against Spurs. You talking now, Baggers. He's got that. He's got everything, hasn't he? He's got skill. Like the ball can be glued to his feet. He can pick out a pass. He's got the strength. he's quick. People often overlook that. And even one thing that often goes overlooked, he's good in the air. He's our main defender for corners.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that as well. I think talked there about confidence. I think there is that in Paul Pogba, but I think one of the big things is that he needs to almost not be the main man as well. I think that early on at Man United, it was everything's got to go through Paul Pogba. He's playing in this deep position where he wants to pick up the ball. He's going to try and score his goals. He can't do everything. He's not like, there is no player that can do everything. If you've kind of seen him when he plays in this forward position, he's not asked to do the defensive role. He thrives. He gets in the box. He does the right things. He produces assists. He can do those moments of magic. He can hold the ball up. And then when he plays in the deeper position, he can win headers. He can do all that stuff. He can control the game. But people are expecting him to control the game as well as win all the headers, as well as score goals, as well as assist. And I think that you don't ask that of any other midfielder in the world. Whereas I think that Paul Pogba can do all those things, but I think that you need players around him. I think Bruno coming in, I think the right player behind you. You've seen when Matic has been fit, I think Matic and Pogba's work perfectly because he can just go, you go and do what you do. And I think that that's the balance in the team hasn't quite been right. And I think that when you've got it right and he's not asked to do absolutely everything in the team, I think that's when he's played well. At the weekend against Tottenham and even against Granada the other night, fantastic.
Yeah, no, he was like that Juve, wasn't it? Was it Pirlo and was it Marquisio? Vidal he had alongside him. I can't remember, but he wasn't like, there was three of them on there and he wasn't the main. I think a lot of it was Pirlo, to be fair. Another player who's coming for a bit of stick at times, but I think sort of unwarranted and seems to be getting a lot more credit recently in the last few weeks, especially, as Harry Maguire. Came in with that massive price tag, which isn't his fault. You can see the stats there. I think before Maguire signed, we conceded 1.42 goals per game. I think that's in the sort of season before he signed. And since he signed, in the last 28 league games, we've conceded just 0.82. What do you make of Harry Maguire, Adam? Do you think that he does get a bit more criticism than he deserves? Are you happy with him since he arrived at Manchester United? Because he came with that massive price tag, and people, I think, expected him to do sort of what Van Dijk did for Liverpool, just win us the league or whatever. He hasn't been able to. That's not his fault. But for me, he plays well. What do you think of him?
Yeah, you got to remember he's one player. And he's a centre half. He's not going to win your games. He's got to pull you 3 points out of the bag from a hat trick, let's say. But for me, if you look at, I'm going to compare it to Ederson for City. If you look at Ederson's mistakes that he's made leading to goal, it's more than Maguire. And then it's not spoke about because City have actually gone on to win the game. So when Maguire does make a mistake and we do lose or we drop points, it's heightened because we haven't got the results we needed. Yeah, he's prone to mistakes. He's not got the best centre-half next to him. Not a great partner, I would say. But I've been impressed with him. We got, again, it's confidence. If he's got the confidence behind him, there's no reason why we can't push on next season. And he's a great captain as well. Yeah,
I mean, where do you stand? That's a good point there about his captaincy values, because this has been a bit of a source of debate. Should Bruno be captain? Should, Paul Pogba's captain of United? Should it be someone else? There was a few people saying earlier in the season it should be De Gea. That's gone out the window, obviously, because De Gea's not even keeper in a minute. But do you think that A, he deserves to be captain, and B, that's had any effects on his performances?
I think me and you chatted about this before the game against Granada the night, and I think that Ollie made that decision, and it was a bit of a safe call. I think it was look, here's Harry Maguire, record signing, centre-half, going to play every game. It's the right decision. It's the safe, right decision. If you'd have given it to Bruno Fernandes when he came in, everyone would have gone, he's only been here for 2 minutes, why are you giving it to him? If you'd given it to anyone else on the pitch, David De Gea, talk of him leaving on a big contract, you don't know where he stands. Same with Paul Pogba, there's talk about him getting it. Is it just a case of trying to do that to keep him here? Same kind of thing as Rooney did, give him the armband for him to stay. And then you look at, who else is the Marcus Rashford? Is that too much of a thing for Marcus Rashford? Whereas I think that Harry Maguire, I think he's the perfect captain? No, but I think it's the right decision. I think that he's not changed his game because he's Manchester United captain. I think he's just continued on, does what he does. I think the one thing with all United signings is that the pressure on them, because we only sign a few players, because we only sign one per position, because of, you look what Man City have done when they've signed Laporte, John Stones, and now they've signed another two this summer, they've signed another £100 million worth of centre-halves. There's less pressure because they know that if things go wrong, I'll get someone else is going to come in, or we're going to have someone else to come in. I can sit out the team for a few weeks. The pressure on Harry Maguire is, you're our main centre-half, And if you're not playing, who else? You've not got anyone else to come in. And here's Harry Maguire. I think that's the first game in. I think he's played every single minute for every single game this season, something mad like that. That's the only reason he missed it was he was suspended. He would have played. He's comfortable playing 60 games a season, which Ronaldo Brown, availability is the best ability, or whatever it is.
Exactly. Pearls of wisdom from Ronaldo Brown. Who'd have thunk that?
It is an amazing stat to have, and I think that to have a steady defender in Harry Maguire, look, I think we can add someone next to him. You can add someone with a bit more pace, with a bit more physicality that can maybe play the ball a bit better. Of course you can. But I think Harry Maguire will always be one of those two in the next 5-6 years at Manchester United.
I think Harry Maguire's having a very good season. I think the problems Manchester United have got or have had this season hasn't been, as you mentioned it there, Adam, it's not been conceding goals. We had all these 0-0s and stuff against big teams, and it was not scoring enough goals at times and not taking our chances in those fine margins where it's 0-0 and you get a chance. And you usually, or if you take that can be the difference between winning the title and not doing it. And far too often this season, we haven't done that. So I'm a big fan of Harry Maguire. I think he's doing a great job. And as you mentioned there, Baggers, I think now, taking the captaincy off him would be a demotion. It would be punishing him. And he seems a bit like, as you mentioned, Adam, there about Pogba. These are confidence players sometimes. And Harry Maguire strikes me as that. There was all those scenes, there was that scene of him hugging John Stones after the derby, which I'm not into, but I think a lot of that was a relief. There's a nil, I know it's a 0-0, it's not a progressive result, but a clean sheet. And I think because he was under the pressure after what had gone on in Mykonos and all that drama, that he's maybe just felt a bit like just sort of relief with his mate, even though I don't really want to see any United players hugging City players ever again. With all that said, should we move on to predicted 11s? Baggers, I'll start with you. Go on, give us your predicted 11 for United's game against Burnley.
Is my 11. I've gone with Dean Henderson in goal. Back four, I think, picks itself at this moment in time. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. I've gone with McTominay, Pogba in midfield. I think that McTominay got the break in midweek because of the suspension, but wouldn't be surprised if Fred goes alongside Paul Pogba. And then I've just gone for, look, we're playing Burnley. They're not going to have a lot of the ball. As many attackers on as physically possible. So Marcus Rashford, I think, with the rest in midweek, will be fit. Bruno Fernandes is obviously going to play, and then Mason Greenwood. And Edison Cavani, who's found a bit more form. Happy to see him scoring goals in back-to-back games. I think that another one that we need to keep playing and if he can keep scoring goals towards the end of the season, I think we'll, hopefully lift a bit of silverware and have a good end to the season in the Premier League.
Is this the team, sorry, I should have made this clear, is this the team then that you think Ollie's going to go with?
Yes. And it's to be honest, it's what I'd like at the minute.
Oh, right, so
I think
it's both.
It's a bit of both.
I think both.
I said the only thing is McTominay in midfield. I think he might go for Fred, but that's my only thought. Is the only change.
He does like Fred, doesn't he?
He does like Fred.
He does like.
I think he plays that role potentially better than Scott McTominay, but up against Burnley, in the defensive bit. But I do think that up against Burnley, a lot of long balls. McTominay's height, Pogba's height. I think they'll do the job.
Do you know what? Low key hate Burnley. Do you know, like, how many times we've drawn at home with Burnley recently? It's just a joke. Like, it's
and got beat.
The crap, aren't they, as well? They're just boring. Like, they're just there. Well, they got to the Europa League once, didn't they? Yeah. Like, lost to or played Aberdeen. Wow. And then got knocked out. Was a point in that?
They're never going to go anywhere, though. Burnley,
no.
They're not going to go down.
Like, all they care about, I think, Burnley, and I was going to say forgive me if I'm wrong, but don't forgive me, I don't care. Is just being above Blackburn. I think they're above Blackburn because there's a real fierce rivalry in East Lancashire. I used to work in East Lancashire and it's absolutely crackers. But yeah. Adam, should we go on to your team?
Yeah.
You're predicted, is yours this who you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will pick? Or is this who you want to see start?
It's probably a bit of both again,
to
both. Be fair. Because I've put Fred in there. I'll go get that in a minute. But I've got Henderson in there. I've gone for the typical back four.
Picks itself, doesn't it, if everyone's fit, I think.
You've got to stick with the same back four now for the end of the season. It's got to be done. I've gone for a narrow diamond. You can't really see that here, but I've gone for Fred, Holding, McTominay and Pogba either side, and Bruno, in that attacking role.
Oh, yeah, we've got it up there. Yeah, I think,
there you go. They're quite a physical team, aren't they, Burnley? I think we do need to compact the midfield, break the play down, and then I've put Greenwood and Cavani up front.
Oh, two up top. Old school.
Yeah. I've not dropped Rashford because I don't think he's playing well. I just think that Greenwood's been impressing me more than Rashford at the moment. I think he's got a bit more...
Oh. Is that tactical then rather than fitness then, you think?
On my side, yeah. I don't know, the thing with Cavani and Greenwood is I feel like they do work really well together. I'm not saying Rashford doesn't.
Yeah.
I do see Rashford more as a winger. I do see Greenwood more as a striker, which is why I popped him in there.
If I knew you weren't going to pick Marcus Rashford, I never would have invited you on to the fair enough. No, that is a strong team. Defensively, solid. The midfield there, we've got options in midfield. You know, there'll be people there looking, what about Donny van de Beek? Donny van de Beek doesn't usually start.
You can have Paul Pogba as well, drift a bit further forward. So as much as that's been the diamond, that switches to 4-2-3-1 pretty quickly with where Paul Pogba's been playing. He even mentioned it in that interview with Joe, I think it was last night, and said that it kind of reminds him of the position he played at Juventus recently, where it's a little bit further forward, a bit more freedom, which I think is so he has been enjoying that left hand side role he's been given.
He works well there, Paul Pogba. But some of his best performances, I think it was Goodison Park he played there for United a few years ago, and he was fantastic. He really was. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's it. We've cracked the key now to the code, so to where he needs to play. But then he got moved about. Sometimes he was part of a 2 when he under Jose, then he was part of a 3. But no, it's a very strong team. And listen, you know, you're right about Burnley are being a physical team, and Cavani's got a bit of an edge to him, as Fernandes, as Paul Pogba's a strong player. Fred likes to get stuck in, as does Scott McTominay. So there's players there that can mix it up a bit. I'll move on to mine. Mine is a predicted 11. This is who I think will play, not who I necessarily want to play. Back five. I think we've all gone for the same back five. Yep. Mm-hmm. I've gone with, you know, Henderson for me now is the number one. I know Ollie said I've got 2 number ones, but that's a load of nonsense. McFred in midfield. It seems to be Ollie's preferred choice. He does like that sort of double pivot, or, you know, not really holding either. I know you can class them as in the holding position, but they both like to get forward. Yeah. And I think often it's a case of one goes forward and one drops back a little bit. I've got Paul Pogba as almost as on the left-hand side of a 3 attackers almost. I think he's in that sort of in-between bit, in between midfield and attack. But again, on the left-hand side, I like him there. I just think I think that's where Ollie will play him, because I personally prefer Marcus Rashford to be there. But I think because of lack of options on the right-hand side, Marcus will end up playing on the right. I know where you're coming from in terms of wanting to go 2 up top. I think if Rashford's fit, he plays for Ollie. For me, it's that simple. And I think because he didn't play the other night, I think he will be fit for this one. Bruno in the sort of number 10 role. I was in 2 minds about Greenwood or Cavani, but I'm with you, Baggers. I think Ollie will feel he can give Cavani a bit of a run. I know he's 34, but he's fit as a fiddle.
We've got a week off next week.
Yeah, I think
we've got no midweek game.
Yeah, Ollie. If anything, it's probably Mason who might need a rest more. Yeah, because he's been playing well, Mason. Don't get me wrong, but he has been playing a lot of football recently. He's still developing, still growing. He's only 19. So I've gone with Cavani up top. As always, get involved in the comments. Let us know your predicted 11s as well. What you think of mine, what you think of Adams, and what you think of Baggers' predicted 11s. Should we move on to Burnley?
Let's have a look at Burnley.
Well, their form is very Burnley-esque. 2 draws, a win, and 2 losses. Losing to Newcastle is an absolute stinker. In fact, losing to Newcastle and Southampton are terrible results, because both of those teams are in the doghouse. Although, you know, a win at Southampton, a win at Everton is very good. Draw with Arsenal and a draw with Leicester is not too shabby either. So, like, it just feels like
it's just Burnley all over.
It is, isn't it? It feels so like 11th or 12th place sort of form.
I know what you think about Burnley, but I'm quite impressed with how they've done this.
Oh, I'm impressed with Burnley.
I'm impressed with they are
against fucking Arsenal.
They've done what middle, clubs should do, which is just settle for. If you're not going to spend the money to get into the top 6, Burnley are doing it bang on. The Burnley are very mid-table. They're never going to get relegated now. I think they've done it the right way. They've kept Sean Dyche there for 40 years. It feels like now. I think they've done the right thing.
I kind of like Sean Dyche. I'd say about the time I interviewed Sean Dyche.
No,
go on. This story. I went to Burnley's parade when they first got promoted with Sean Dyche, and like in the town hall. I was up there with him, interviewed Danny Ings and Sean Dyche, and I never spoke to Sean Dyche. I never heard him talk. So I introduced myself, and he started talking. He's like, Ugh. So I went, "Oh, was you out celebrating last night?" And he went, "No."
Good impression, that.
So it's just like, you feel yourself getting ready. I'm like, oh God, I've upset him already. So we started the interview. So I do like Sean Dyche. I know where you're coming from, and it's not like I wake up and go, I fucking hate Burnley. It's not like the Scouts.
You ain't playing him.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's just so often at Old Trafford, it's been a frustrating afternoon. We've got a bit of inside info on one of them, though, haven't we? Adam Dwight McNeil.
Yeah,
who is Burnley's star man. We were linked with him at one point, weren't we?
We've been linked with everybody.
Yeah, he's on that list, isn't he? You can see stats there. I mean, 33 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists. But you know him, don't you? You're his better, aren't you?
Well, he went to school. It's as far as that. He was like 2 years below me. But I did play him like every lunchtime in school.
Was it? Did you notice him then and think he's actually pretty good? Nah. Really? No. That's how good you are. Dwight, get a proper name.
To be fair, I only really heard back from him when he did sign for Burnley, and it was like, oh, I went to school with it.
Yeah,
it's one of them. But yeah, there was occasions on at dinner where I was a centre half, me.
Right.
I love kicking people, so he was definitely one to be kicked.
Yeah,
dead tricky.
Yeah.
Oh mate, yeah, especially if he's younger than you.
Yeah,
he's lucky he survived those school days to have a career. He could have ended it before he got going. I mean, it's one of those with Burnley. We can get to the. I think we've got the head-to-head United versus Burnley head-to-heads there. You can see that we've had a few. Well, in there, there's a draw and a loss as well. So we've not had it all our own way, have we, with Burnley? And what tends to happen is, if you go back over the last few years with Burnley, 1 or 2 players sort of step up. Usually the goalkeeper.
Well, that's the same.
Was it Tom Eaton who had the best performances by any goalkeeper I've ever witnessed in my life?
I don't think they've got Nick Pope in.
I think he might. He was out the other week, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think he might still be.
But this is what I mean. No, whoever comes in might just have the game of their life.
That's the story of our season, though.
Yeah.
It has been for years. We come up against these mid-table sides, and either the keeper has a blinder, or you have a striker that just decides to want to score 2 goals against us. So
the funny thing there though was the 2-0 loss was the catalyst, wasn't it? That was like that was the sort of watershed moment. If you remember when we got beat off Burnley, and I remember after the game, I don't think I did a fan cam. I can't remember. I remember like the fan cams were pretty much like Ollie out. This isn't good enough. We're doomed. I think that result left us 6 points off top 4. We all thought we've got no chance of getting into the Champions League, and then some guy arrived, baggers from Portugal. I can't remember his name. Brune Summit. He arrived, and then things kind of got a little.
Did all right after then, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of got a little bit better, and people started liking, we're going to Solskjaer again, and we went on a 23-game unbeaten run, I think. With all that being said, what's the score going to be this weekend? Start with you, baggers.
There's a lot of 2 in those last few beats. We scored a lot of 2 in a lot of games, so I'm going to go 2-0.
A lot of 2.
There's a lot of 2. 1-0, 2-0, 2-2, 2-0.
Loads of 2s there, so I'm going to say 2. He's got more 2s than me. I want 2 as well.
A lot of 2s there. It's going to be 2-0.
Right, okay.
As long as it's not 2-2. 2-0 United.
It's 2-2. I'm going to be fuming if we don't beat Burnley again. Adam, what are you going for, mate?
I'm going to copy us. I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0.
It seems I got that right last time, so I'm going to stick with it. So
right.
I don't.
All right, then. Well, at least we've got a prediction for this time. You just sent me a video of you.
What mad one are you going for this week, Jay? You went for 3-3. Was it 4-4 against Tottenham?
Yeah. Well, in keeping with the 2 theme, I'm going to go for 4-3. Yeah. To United, of course. Get involved in the comments. Let us know your score prediction. Adam, where can people find you? Because people may not know whereabouts you are. What's your Twitter handle, if you still call it that?
Yeah, it's Adam Clare 17. I do get mixed up with the numbers because I made a few accounts.
Right, okay. Oh, you know what them are you? Burner accounts, can't you? Imagine having different accounts.
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on... I run my own podcast. We call The Back Post. You can find us there. I'm not going to steal you.
No, we'll put a link in the description.
No.
Go and check it out. No, dude, this is why you're here.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. It's good stuff. He's always good stuff, Adam, as well. And you'll see him giving his predictions on our matches as well when he remembers to give us a score. Baggers, where can people find you?
Baggers_Alex. And as I've always said, go and check out TikTok because TikTok's fun at the minute. Go and watch TikTok.
TikTok king.
There was something else I was going to say. I've forgotten. So don't worry about it. Merchandise. Yeah, go and do that. Check that out because there's new stuff coming.
Go and check out these 2 guys. You know where to find me, Jay Motti, on all the socials. If you're not doing, subscribe to the channel as well. And as Bagger said, go and check out the merchandise. Go and check out the members section. Check it all out, man. Just go and have a look. Don't forget as well to hit like and share. This has been the Stretford Paddock Burnley preview. Thanks for watching.